This is the brand new BDH H2SQ. It's a boutique, high-end, and high-performing sim racing shifter designed for the highest pedigree of sim racing setups. Made famous in the sim racing community through their original Bazooka H-pattern shifter, this one, the H2SQ, is the company's newest innovation, providing both a sequential and H-pattern shifter in one, all while maintaining the same iconic design, build quality, and even more. Sent to me by BDH for review, today I'll be going over all of the good, the bad, and whether the shifter's big price tag could possibly be justified. There is very clearly a reason that BDH got the Bazooka nickname, and it's because this shifter mounted here on my rig just has this crazy presence to it. It doesn't look, feel, or sound cheap, and that's good because, I mean, it certainly isn't. Coming in at an eye-watering $1,200, it's no secret that this product isn't for everyone. However, for those who can afford it, the H2SQ, it certainly puts its money where its mouth is. You see, from a build quality perspective alone, it's 4 kilograms or almost 9 pounds in weight. It's precision machined into an aerospace specification aluminum case, which houses high tensile steel components, Hall effect sensors, and comes with a WRC spec nylon shifter knob. It's also offered in 3 different color options, and here I have the new black and red configuration, which blends in well with my cockpit, albeit I personally would prefer the full silver option, which has become kind of just BDH's iconic look. Now, regardless of that, there is no denying that what I have here, though, is pristine. There are no unwanted blemishes, no imperfections, and the overall shifter maintains this stealthy yet aggressive look to it, almost acting like a showpiece in of itself. Now, as we all know, though, its on-track performance, well, that's pretty much the biggest thing that really matters. Okay, so starting off here in the H-pattern configuration, I'll immediately say that there really isn't too much to complain about. In terms of how it feels when shifting through the gears, I can pretty much make it feel however I want it to be. In real life, I drive a MOZA, which has a relatively soft throw to it, and I can adjust the shifter here and make it feel almost identical to that. And then on the other end, some cars in real life, like the Porsche Cayman GT4, has a really strong shifting feel, in which case I can literally just move this dial over here and get a feeling that not only looks but also sounds very similar to that. On that note, and surprising to me, the ease of use of the shifter has significantly been improved. For starters, it's entirely plug and play, as with a single USB cord plugged into a PC only, everything is ready to go right off the bat. There is no software, no updates, just bind everything in game and you're good to go, with up to 7 forward gears and a separate one for reverse. Moreover, making adjustments takes literal seconds and no tools. Turn this knob to the right to increase resistance and to the left to decrease it, and then turn the collar on the right for sequential and to the left for H-pattern mode. Out on track, driving and shifting through the gears with the shifter, it is a very enjoyable experience. The shifter is very tactile, it's very responsive, it does everything I want it to do, and like I said, I can fine-tune the feeling to whatever I might possibly want. In terms of the sound of the shifter, it is undoubtedly satisfying and very tactile, but admittedly a little bit loud, especially on those higher resistance settings. Now, I didn't find the noise to be a problem when out on track, as, I mean, I have headphones on and I can barely hear it, but if you do have roommates, live in an apartment, or something of that sort, I think it should be somewhat of a consideration. In terms of other considerations, there aren't many negative drawbacks, and admittedly, the noise, apart from the expensive price tag, will likely be the biggest. However, something niche that I found was that in this black colorway, any single fingerprint or speck of dust will be very visible, this being a huge pain for me when filming, and something that those who are very particular about the look of their rig may want to consider. Now, I also noticed that it's not possible to adjust the throw of the shifter, something that I didn't feel necessary to do, but it would still be a nice option to have, especially at this price point. Now, I'll be completely honest, there is no overlooking the price tag of this shifter. I mean, it does cost $1,200, or probably a lot of people's mortgage payment. Well, maybe not in this economy, but I mean, whether it's worth it for me is very different to whether it's worth it to some very high net worth individual who just wants a very solid and very high quality sim racing setup. I agree to what others have said in the past in that this shifter, I mean, yes, it performs and it looks amazing, but it ultimately is just as much as a status symbol as it is a piece of sim racing hardware. I do, however, think that for the money, you are getting an experience that very few other shifters can even match, and definitely not any that are at lower price points than this one. For example, the Fanatec shifter or the Simagic shifter, both of those are great and certainly a lot more affordable than this one, but they also don't have the same look, the same build quality, or the same mechanical feel that this one does. There is definitely a reason why BDH has been able to carve out this almost cult-like following within the sim racing community, and it's because these shifters just have such a great mechanical feeling that almost no other can even come close to. And it's very clear in my opinion that BDH has placed a significant amount of importance onto the overall feeling and performance of the shifter, not only in the H pattern mode, but equally in the sequential setting. On that note, I of course have to talk about the sequential setting of the shifter, and bear with me as I have just a little bit too much fun.
I gotta cut to the chase. Everyone give me some space.
Okay, so right off the bat, there is no negating that this is also a phenomenal sequential shifter. The up and down shifts, as you expect, are also super satisfying and tactile, and you can also probably hear that. I mean, this is a serious bit of gear. Oh my god. And it's easy to say that as a sequential shifter, it feels just as good as any other high-end dedicated sequential shifter would. The up and down shifts are extremely clicky, they are very precise, the shifter is holding up well, and the handle, I mean, that just feels great under my hand. However, my only complaint is that for $1,200, I do think that BDH should have included a more dedicated rally-style handle, instead of just having you use the same one for both the H pattern and sequential configuration. And I really don't think this is crazy to say, considering that much cheaper products which also offer the H pattern and sequential mode shifts do often include two separate handles for both different settings. However, again, from an on-track driving perspective, there is simply no complaints regarding the mechanical and realistic feeling of this as a sequential shifter. So all in all, in my opinion, the brand new BDH H2SQ not only looks but also performs strikingly well, and whether you're using it in a competitive or casual setting, I believe that it gives a very mechanically accurate feel with a very mature look. However, and a big however, is that especially at this price point and in today's market with all the new advancements in sim hardware, I do wish that this was an active shifter. If I had the same vibrations here that I do in my real-life car, that's what would take this shifter into a completely different league. And to be fair, that is something that competitors like MOZA Racing are offering with their active shifters, and something that I think BDH should be worried about. At the end of the day, the H2SQ from BDH is unapologetically not for everyone. However, I believe that if you have the funds and the necessity, or at least the want for a dual-purpose shifter, you really won't be disappointed with this option, and I also think that BDH deserves a lot of recognition for the engineering behind a product like this, and how mechanically good it actually feels underhand. Leave a like if you enjoyed. This video took forever.